Goeiedag, good day, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. And when you think back in October, South African Airways has had a really torrid month. It started off with my expose about their CEO, Adam Voss, being involved in dodgy dealings in the past. And we'll get to that in a second. But then it was followed up with Mango and other airlines having dodgy parts in their planes and having to come back down to land. I mean, this is all in my videos. You can go and have a look and you'll find them. And then, of course, we had this jet engine that was just lost. I mean, a jet engine must weigh hundreds of kilos. And it just disappeared out of the South African Airways inventory. How does that work? Now, this has all happened in recent months under the CEO, Adam Voss. And I will link below the video where I exposed what this huge story is all about that we're going to look at now. Okay, so let's have a look at the screen dump. This is going to be in the Sunday Independent on the front page, right across South Africa and right online, and it's as a result of my expose, linked below, because I was contacted by the Sunday Independent a few days ago, and I put them in touch with the whistleblower. But let's have a look at that picture first. Okay, now following my article, which is on YouTube, linked below, which has nearly 50,000 views in a month, South African Airways came up with a response to that article just a couple of days later, on the 4th of October 2019, and it reads as follows. South African Airways Technical and its parent company South African Airways are aware of an unfortunate YouTube video linking the new CEO or Chief Executive Officer of the airline's maintenance subsidiary, Mr. Adam Voss, to a helicopter accident that occurred back in 2011. Now, they're talking to me when they say this now, okay? South African Airways say this video is not only defamatory but contains claims that are factually baseless and untrue about South African Airways, South African Airways Technical, and Mr. Voss. And they went on to say, and this is damage control, this is what's called damage control, and you'll see why in a second. South African Airways Technical and South African Airways find it disconcerting, disturbing, and distressing that the YouTube video narrator, which was me, opportunistically made comments insinuating that Mr. Voss may have been complicit in the events that led to the helicopter accident. It is difficult to avoid the conclusion that the video was produced to slander and impugn the reputation of Mr. Voss and to damage the image of both South African Airways Technical and South African Airways. Now, I need to speak here. I have been talking to someone who is very, very involved and very knowledgeable in the aviation maintenance area. He's that damn good. He's been doing it for decades, and the airlines go to him for advice. And he actually contacted me months ago about Adam Voss after he was appointed as CEO of South African Airways Technical. He said, huge red flag. This guy, you know, he cuts corners. He's not the right man to be in charge of maintenance on a major airline. And I put up that video, which, as I say, is linked directly below, which I put up in good faith because I'm concerned about what is happening with South African Airways. When you consider what's going on with Mango, now you've got Comair pulling out all the airlines from being involved with South African Airways Technical. And this is since I put this article up. So there's there's noise going on behind the scenes, but the South African Airways are pointing the other way and saying, no, everything's good. But this YouTuber is talking bullshit, and we're going to take him to court for defamation, and we're going to pull down his YouTube video. And guess what? A month after their little article went up in their press releases, and I'll put a link below so you can go and have a look at it, that YouTube video is still up there. I wonder why. Well, let's find out. South African Airways and Mr. Voss are exploring all options, including legal action, to get the video expunged from circulation. South African Airways has investigated and verified certain claims made in the video and is satisfied that the appointment of Mr. Voss, who joined the airline on the 1st of July this year, followed a recruitment and selection process provided for in the company's human resources policy. They go on to say, Mr. Voss brings a wealth of technical aviation experience gained from working in senior executive engineering and maintenance positions around the world at prominent companies. His extensive and demonstrable track record of delivering sustainable results effectively in leading turnaround situations has a strong quality, safety, commercial, and profit-oriented motivation. Get that word, profit-oriented motivation? Think of all these dodgy parts that are suddenly appearing on planes that are being maintained by South African Airways Technical. And that's all on the record. I'm not saying that. That's by other newspapers in South Africa. Think of Mango. His appointment as South African Airways Technical is intended to enhance executive capacity to deliver on the turnaround plans. Once the YouTube video surfaced, that's the one that's linked below, Mr. Voss voluntarily provided factual perspective and context to adverse claims made against him. The fatal helicopter crash was operated by 2 pilots and occurred 2 years after Mr. Voss left the mining company. Look, I'm not going to get involved in the facts of this matter because my whistleblower is a man who knows exactly what is going on. And South African Airways totally ignored contacting me back then and saying, hey, can we have a chat to the whistleblower? No, they came out with this press release defaming me. They are now facing defamation from me. The fatal helicopter crash was operated by 2 pilots and occurred 2 years after Mr. Voss left the mining company. Okay, my information is that there weren't 2 pilots on that helicopter. There was 1 and an engineer, which is a totally different thing to a pilot. And this is at the core of what was behind the accident. So in the Sunday Independent article, which I believe is going to be front page on Sunday, that's today, the 3rd of November, just know where this all originated from. The contracted helicopter company for the mining company was furthermore different to the helicopter company with whom the mining company was contracted during Mr. Voss's tenure. Look, it doesn't matter when you change the rules of engagement against the best advice of experts in the field. Of course, a new company is just going to adopt that. But it's who changed the rules of engagement against the best advice of the experts in the field. And this is what we're talking about. Cutting corners, you know, the whole thing is a complete scam. This guy, Adam Voss, South African Airways can do better. Anyway, going on with the South African Airways press release on the 4th of October, it says, the YouTube also claims in the video that South African Airways has reprimanded its pilots for reporting snags are without basis or merit. Pilots are trained professionals who know and understand their responsibilities and legal obligations in terms of civil aviation laws. Now, look, I have that original email, which is highly confidential. I know exactly who's involved. This is from the wife of a pilot who said that this is happening to white South African pilots who question how the maintenance and how the signing off has been done by people from South African Airways Technical. I'm going to go no further than that. I've got all the evidence. This is the bullshit that's going on behind the scenes. And this is why you'll find that Comair pulled out of South African Airways Technical when they found that the engineers signing off and stuff were not actually in a position to do so. And this has only happened in the last couple of weeks. I am trying to save lives here. South African Airways are cutting corners and they're employing people who are just dodgy, as the article says. That appears in the Sunday Independent on Sunday. Anyway, getting back to the South African Airways article, which, as I say, will be linked below. They go on to say, it is wild speculation to suggest that South African Airways pilots operate airworthy aircraft and they are labelled as racist when snags are raised during the pre-flight aircraft inspections. I would love to get emails from basically the remaining white pilots in South African Airways who just say to me, what you said is bullshit. No one has ever said that. I mean, this article's been out there. No one has ever said that. And until I get someone actually standing up and saying that doesn't happen, then I'm accepting that it does. And when you look at what's happening with South African Airways Technical, and my next video on this will be the actual article that appears in the Sunday Independent. Getting back to this. They say South African Airways has a zero-tolerance approach towards racism and will take steps immediately against anyone with the company who is racist or makes racist slurs. Now, that works both ways. Think about it. You got a pilot who's got 300 people on board, and he notes that the guy who's actually doing the maintenance checks down below is not competent to do it, and he says, hey, and who knows the language that's used, but then all of a sudden he's a racist, even though it's been shown by the South African Civil Aviation Authority that there is something very, very wrong going on with South African Airways Technical. They actually grounded over 40 planes just a couple of weeks ago because the maintenance on planes and the parts on planes, remember the dodgy parts with Mango, were being signed off by people who did not have authority to do that. And not only that, but let's remember that the Hawks and Scorpio are currently investigating South African Airways Technical because of the dodgy parts. This is actually ongoing investigations. But in South Africa, that can take friggin' years. This is important. People need to know, especially overseas airlines, that if you're getting maintained by South African Airways Technical, you've got to be very careful about what they put on your plane. Anyway, South African Airways, in their report, and I'll put a link down below so you can actually read the whole article, they say South African Airways is subject to regulatory audits conducted routinely by independent regulators in the industry in all markets where South African Airways operates across the world. South African Airways has recently been audited and found to be fully compliant, hence South African Airways continues to fly in all markets it serves. I have just one question for you. And I have sent an email out to the spokesperson for South African Airways, and I said, look, I'd love to have you on a live stream, and I sent this five days ago. Never got a response. Didn't bother to respond to it. I'd love to have a live stream with you, because what I'd do is I would get my whistleblower online at the same time, and he said he would love to be part of that. He would love to be part of the live stream conversation. But no, they've just battened down the hedges, and they're just not interested in talking to me. And this is the mob who is saying, we're going to shut down that YouTube video. We're going to sue this guy for defamation. Well, guess what? You've defamed me now, because the news is coming out that what I said was correct. Now, as I say, the next video will be a link to the article by the Sunday Independent, and I will go through everything that they say in there. It's a hugely significant article, because every airline that flies into Oliver Tambo Airport has probably been fingered by the South African Airways technical mob, who clearly there's something really seriously wrong. And that includes airlines like British Airways, American Airlines, all these different airlines from different countries around the world, which fly into OR Tambo expecting to have top class maintenance. This is hugely significant. Alright guys, please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. Ring the bell for the updates. Please like this video, please share this video, and above all, stay safe.